So what we want to share with you here, John and I met up with a guy called Mark Jones. His nickname's Jugger. Everybody calls him Jugger. And Mark used to, as a youth, he worked in a fishing tackle shop in Northamptonshire. And the owner of the shop developed this bait called Cats and Dogs. And it was the go-to #1 carp bait for people who were fishing method feeders and open-ended feeders for the carp on the great big lakes in the UK, like Boddington's, that kind of place. Yeah. And Mark's, with the blessing of the guy who invented it, has got the exact same recipe, and he's making this in Sydney now. And we're lucky enough to have been involved in trialling the Groundbait on some Victorian venues, and we found it very successful, haven't we?
Absolutely.
You can mix it up as a slop. You can mix it dry and feed it by a cup. You can mix it really stiff and use it with a method feeder. But what John and I have found, we've been sharing it with the guys in the club. Not only do carp like it, goldfish love it, but in particular, a couple of our members have been slaying tench with this,
using it for the tench, yeah.
What makes it special, John? It's got 3 different fish meals in it, hasn't it?
Well, I don't know. He's told me it's got 3 different fish meals, and he's told me it's also got a chicken meal as well.
I think it's got a chicken pellet in it, which forms part of the cereal backup, and it's got some ground seeds in there to give it some action, and it's also got betaine in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Mark makes this up in several formats. Basically, it's the same feed, but he'll do it natural, which is a brown colour. He'll do it green, and did you say he does it red and black?
Red and black. And he can also, in the natural, he'll also supply, if required, some little sachets with dye. So if you wanted to order, say, a case, which would be 15 bags, just as an example, you could actually order the powders and then colour yours accordingly, or alternatively, like this one is the brown one, and this one is the green one. You can get them coloured.
Now, what we asked him for, and he's done, and we're using, he does a sweet variation.
Yeah.
And we found it very effective. Mark's very kindly sponsoring, to an extent, a couple of events with Melbourne Coarse anglers.
Yeah.
So there will be Groundbait prizes,
absolutely,
for people in some of the Melbourne events, and not just match fishing events, but also our Stuart's new calendar of specimen fishing days. So this Groundbait's going to be available to everybody, and it is available to buy. If you contact John, he's got a stock of it in Melbourne, and he can also take orders for special quantities as well. And in the pipeline, we've been discussing with him what the other requirements are for Melbourne match fishing. And there's going to be a Cats and Dogs Gold, which is going to be a much finer mix, along the lines of a green swim stim type approach, which will be for goldfish. And he's working on a Cats and Dogs Silver, which will be for our roach matchers. Probably in bigger bags, because we get through a bit of Groundbait. A lot of emphasis on ground hemp and coriander, but with his own secret little herbs and spices and twists. He also has the glugs for the hook bait. So this one is a fruit flavoured glug, but it's also got a fluoro dye in it.
Yeah.
And this one is caramel, and it's a green based one. So whether it's maggots, corn, bread, whatever you want to, or whether you just want to put a little squirt on a feeder, he's got those available as well.
And the club are selling that too?
Through Melbourne Coarse Anglers, it will be available. So if they contact me, Mark has just sent me several boxes of it, which I have in my garage, and we're just really selling it on his behalf. But it's so that our members have got a good Groundbait, because like Glenn's just said, it can be knocked up into several different ways, dry, wet, whatever. But what I can tell you is, when I've personally made Groundbait, which I have done for a number of years, it's very difficult to get them to knock up really nice and fluffy, like you would, what I would call a continental groundbait, something like a census or a Vandenheim.
Yeah.
This is as near as I've ever seen. It knocks up absolutely beautifully.
And it's
really
it's dead versatile.
Yeah, and now with discussions where Glenn said, I think this would be really good on goldfish, but I want it ground up to virtually a powder. But once you get that powder, you then can use it as a paste for any of the guys that like paste fishing. You can use it as a slop for goldfish, or you can use it as a very fine ground bait for goldfish, which is
nice winter mix of
absolutely
goldfish for a
fabulous.
little feeder as well.
And
So it's very versatile, and we struggled to get good quality bait into the country. So it's here. Mark's got it, and we're using it, and we love it, and we're paying for it. You know, it's well worth the money. I think it sells at $12 a bag.
$12 a bag,
Yeah, that goes to Mark. But his thank you in return is he'll provide bait as prizes for our competitions.